Hello everyone. So in the last video we have seen about this equation. We have generated this equation sorry guys, to convert or to map a number from a particular range to a new range. Okay, so I wanted to map a number that is I wanted to map a number from 0 to 100 range to 0 to 10 range. Okay, then I took a number 70 and I mapped it from my default range to my needed new range. Okay guys, so I wrote this equation for this and I want to make sure whether it works or not. It works fine or not now using code, right? So sorry guys, I will do small compiling and make sure my code is error free. So done compiling is fine. So what you can do is you can directly upload the code to your Arduino and open your serial monitor and see whether you are getting 7 as the outcome or not. Okay, because 70 to 100 means 7 to 10, right? That's obvious. Okay, that's fine. So I copy the code. Okay, and I am having a simulation environment for the sake of the video, so you should do with your real Arduino guys. Okay and I will have the serial monitor here and I will simulate my code and see whether it works or not. Okay, so the equation is perfectly fine, right? So we are doing a division and a multiplication, right? Of the answer. That's fine. So I'll start the simulation and see what happens. Oh my god, so I'm not getting the expected outcome, right? I'm getting zeros, right? So there is some problem, isn't it? Okay, so just let me know with your real Arduino whether you are getting 7 or 0. Okay, whether you are getting 7 or not, you can let me know. But I will explain what's the problem here, right? I will not explain, I will just tell the issue, right? So this should give us 7, right? In programming like Java, programming languages like Java and others, I hope it should give us 7. No doubt on that, I hope. Okay, but in this C++, okay, the problem here is in this scenario, right? I actually don't know the exact rule. Okay, but in this scenario, when you are dividing something, okay, because you are dividing the x by 100, right? After that you are going for some multiplication. So what is the value being divided? X, right? This value you should keep as a point value. Okay, what is a point value? So if you take it here, integer, it cannot be a point value, right? Integer means 10. Okay, this is correct, but you cannot have 10.5 as an integer. This is wrong. Integer means full numbers. Even you cannot have, okay, 10.0 as an integer. No, you cannot have, because there's a point value came. No, 10.00 you cannot have. Okay, there's a problem. You can't have it as an integer, right? So what I said is there's a problem with this programming language, that if you want to divide this value, x value, because x value is being divided by 100, right? If you want to divide, you should keep it as a point value. Okay, so point value integer cannot hold. Integer can only hold full numbers. Okay, so to hold the point value, there is another data type called float. Okay, float. Okay, so I will stop the simulation and change it. Okay, so there's a value data type called float. So you can Google about this and study, but for the moment just think like that. I'm not explaining it properly, I know. I'm just giving a solution, I know, but our focus is not this. That is why I'm just telling it. Okay, our focus is going to map function. Okay guys, so you can study about float data type. We will study about that in future also anyway. No worries. For the now, we don't study about the float data type. Okay, so just know float data type can hold point values. Okay, so you can hold this so let's say int x. I said integer cannot hold this value, but float can hold. Okay, so if you say float x is equal to 10.5, then Arduino will know float data type is a data type that can hold point values. Okay, that means in a memory location this point value will be stored and the memory will be named as x. That's all. The data type is float. That means Arduino will check whether the data type is compatible or not with the stored value. Okay, so integer is not compatible with the value, but float is compatible. Okay, so if you are saying float x, then it is valid. Okay, so my question is, okay, I change the int x to float x. This is fine. Why? To solve the dividing issue. Okay, so how do you convert this value 70 to a float value? 70 is an integer value, right? That means 10 is an integer value. So how do you convert it into a float value? Just having a point. So without changing the value, you should change, right? If you say 10.2, you broke the scene, because 10.2 means there is a different value. 10.2 and 10 are different values. You can't have it, but you want to change it into float. Okay, so that's a concept, right? We have 70. Now it is an integer. I want to make it as a 70 float. So if you say 70.5, then that's wrong, because value has changed. So without changing value, how to do that? You have to have a point and have 1 or 2 zeros, because the value never changed. See, it is also 70, this is also 70, value never changed, but this data type became float. Why? You have had a point and zeros. You can have as many as zeros, right, without changing the values normally. Okay, 10 and 10.0000000 are same, right? But the difference here in the programming language is what? Data type. Okay, so I want the float data type so that I can divide. Okay, the programmer doesn't shout at me. Okay, compiler will not shout, I mean the outcome will not break. Okay, so I want the float to be there. So how to change the 70 integer to 70 float is just having 0.00, because float values are by default point numbers. Okay, so you can hold any number of any point values using float normally. Okay, you can think like that. We will study about the float in upcoming videos. Okay guys, so I will change the data type. So I want to change it to 70.00. I'm sorry, 00. Okay guys, you can have 10, that's also fine. Okay, now we will see and what happens. Okay, now the x value is 70.00. Okay, now I will re-simulate and see what happens. Now you see the 7 is coming, right? This is totally fine, right? Because I expected, because anyway, even though it is float or whatever, the input is 70, input value is 70 in the range of 100. So when you are changing it to 10, it should be 7. Okay, and the final value you are taking as an integer, right? So 7.00 will not come, because y is integer, right? You understand what I'm telling? The final value we are assigning to an integer value, that outcome value. So that is an integer, so that cannot be 7.0. That can be only 7, because integers only can hold non-point values. So 7 is coming. Okay, forget about that. Okay, so this may be a little bit tricky. What the hell is doing? You can think like that, guys. Okay, so what the thing happened is our equation is totally fine. Okay, our logic is totally fine, but some programs have some issues. Okay, issues, not issues, they have some rules on their own, right? So these guys are saying you can do this. I don't know whether it is a rule or not, but here this is the problem. Okay, you can't have it with integer. Okay, if you want to divide it, you want to make it a float. If you want to make it a float, have a 0.00 without breaking the value, so you don't have any issues. Okay, so I sorted it this way. Okay, so if you encounter this kind of scenarios in future, you can try apply this fix in any place. Okay, forget about these guys. Okay, so anyway, you can forget about this float and all those whatever we call these silly businesses, if you feel it, because we want to move to map function. Okay, so apart from this issue, you can understand the logic works fine, right? So we are doing a mapping by writing an equation. Okay, so what if we have a function so that you don't have to write anything? Okay, what if you have a function where you pass your current value, needed the input value, and also the whatever the ranges? Okay, or in another word, what if there's a function that can do all these things and return the value to you? Okay, so that you don't have to go through this pain also. Forget about this pain, float thing. So let's say what if you have a separate function that can do this all conversion and give you the value? Okay, if there's a possibility, yes, that is what map function is, right? So we will study about the map function in the upcoming video, so that we will understand we don't have to do this division, guys. Okay, so if you still feel messy, little bit confused, just don't worry. Even this video is not needed to you to understand the concept. If you understand, we have used a equation, now we are going for a map function, so that you don't have to write any equation manually. If you understand that level, that is cool, guys. So in the upcoming video, we will study the map function. Just follow me up there, guys. Then I promise you things will get much better and easy. Okay guys, so guys, consider subscribing us. I will catch you up in the next video. Stay safe, guys.